Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Digital Blackface. It's your boy Poe, and I'm here with my co-host. They can introduce themselves, guys. Talk to the people.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
I'm fucking retarded now.
Oh, that's how we open. Yeah, that's Amy being fucking retarded. Lamb, introduce yourself, please.
I'm the producer and one of the co-hosts of Digital Blackface, Lamhammer.
Okay, and we're also here with my man.
His name is Carl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was gonna.
I thought Carl.
Why?
I thought he could let himself. Yeah, Carl, please. Yeah, go ahead.
Hi guys, it's Carl. I actually could make it from the factory this time to get to this one.
Yeah, boy.
I'm usually not off this early.
I actually made it to this one because I'm not sick.
Yes, Amy is doing well physically. Now, today's topic, we're talking about. You guys have heard how the new Spider-Man 3 movie coming out in 2021 or 2022. Really, Corona messes up all types of deadlines anyway. But the new Spider-Man 3 is coming out, and big news: Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are rumored to have been casted. And because Doctor Strange is apparently Peter's mentor, because Spider-Man always needs a mentor in the MCU for some reason. People believe that Multiverse of Madness is going to lead right into a Spider-Verse for Spider-Man 3. Now, quick question. Do you guys think that's what they're going to go with?
What makes the most possible sense to produce money, Poe?
Honestly, I think banking on nostalgia and the fact that people really like former Spider-Mans too.
And also the fact that they just did Spider-Verse. So the answer is yes, Poe. The answer is yes.
Okay. Amy, anything to say?
You know what? Regarding the whole Spider-Verse shit, I think it would be amazing if they just shit-canned the old Spider-Man movies into another universe and just worked with this one and then updated the older movies with new sequels. Or that's all I want. Just one more.
You're not getting a Spider-Man 4, Amy. Look.
This is why I hate Marvel.
Look, no, literally, there were plans for an amazing Spider-Man cinematic universe. That's where all the ideas from Morbius, Venom, and all that stuff that you see in Venom, that was supposed to fit in Andrew Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man cinematic universe. That's where all these plans were coming from for the Silver, all this stuff. It's not brand new. They had it written out. Now they're just using it to fit in with MCU Spidey.
Well,
of course they are. It's the only way to tie it back together.
Yeah. Would you have watched The Amazing Spider-Man 3, though?
For myself, no. For content, I would have to.
Okay, but The Amazing Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield, he's my favorite Spider-Man.
Why is he your favorite
Amazing Spider-Man 1 was okay.
Okay, straight up facts. While I believe that, he was a bit too cool for a high school age Peter Parker, he was a perfect fucking Spider-Man. He's without a doubt, the best actual Spider-Man in costume we have ever had. The movements, the fighting, the personality, the jokes. He is on point on every factor when it comes to being Spider-Man.
Who?
Hold on.
Andrew Garfield. Garfield.
Hold on. I will springboard that. However, here's where I'm going to go with it, okay? I will give you best Spider-Man alive on scene while in combat.
Okay.
I bet it's some fucking amateur who's just a better Spider-Man.
No, Andrew Garfield has been in the film industry for a while. He's the one that they chose specifically and went to for notes on Spider-Man.
The reason why I say some amateur who probably does it better is because I honestly think most Spider-Mans were trash in the movie adaptations.
Oh wait,
Raimi's was about as good as it was gonna get for Peter Spider-Man thing,
Okay, first of all, Amy, you're wrong, but okay, it's okay to be wrong.
I mean, I'm not watching fucking Homecoming. That shit's fucking garbage. Fuck
okay,
that.
but Homecoming wasn't entirely bad. Did you actually watch it? Did you give it a chance?
I did. It was actually pretty bad.
She's not wrong there.
The Amazing Spider-Man, the one that they did when they first experimented with the new Spider-Man, was probably better than Homecoming. If I had to be honest.
That is true. Spider-Man 1 was tolerable.
Which one was the Andrew Garfield one? I'm pretty sure that was
Amazing Spider-Man. Yeah.
yeah, that was fucking his Peter Parker is fucking retarded. I hate it. It's the worst thing on planet Earth.
What are you talking about?
Sure, his Spider-Man, sure, but his fucking Peter Parker is actually fucking brain dead. I hate it.
Yes.
Okay, his Peter Parker
like
is a
Raimi's
bit.
Peter Parker was better. And that's
first of all, you're wrong.
Because
You are
shitty
wrong.
2005 Spider-Man movies were.
You are wrong. You are wrong on Raimi Peter Parker being better. Okay. Raimi Peter Parker is better than Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker, but it's not even that great on its own. His Peter Parker he's a freaking wimp. Like, he doesn't even.
Hold on. Whoa. Now you're getting scandalous.
I'm getting scandalous.
We're having some kind of technical problem, ladies and gentlemen. They can hear us, but apparently we're freezing. Are we still experiencing freezing problems, chat?
A little bit.
Uh-oh. Clam's internet's not up to speed this time.
Well,
it's my fault. I'm here.
Well, no, it's actually probably just Lamb's fault.
it is. Well, not mine in and of myself, but seems better.
Tell them niggas in the house to get off the Wi-Fi. What the fuck?
There ain't nobody streaming or anything in here. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Okay, now it's better.
Okay, we're good. We're good.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
Oh, I do have a green light down here at the bottom as well. Let's go.
So back to telling Poe how he's fucking wrong.
First of all, I am not fucking wrong. You guys just don't know Spider-Man. First things first.
Oh no, yes, I do, sir.
I'm speaking. Listen, since I was a child, I did nothing but read. And after I read through all the adult books I could find, I found comic books. And I found Spider-Man. And after reading 80s Spider-Man, 90s Spider-Man, some dumbass gave me Ultimate Spider-Man. And I fucking ate that shit up. I loved it. Now, Ultimate Spider-Man is really, it's kind of where I get most of my Spider-Man info from, because I read it and reread that shit so many times. It has taken over normal Spider-Man for a lot of stuff. But however, I'm going to say Homecoming could have been the ultimate Spider-Man of our generation. But you know what? It was meh. Homecoming was meh. Tom Holland, Peter Parker, he's strong, he's fast, I guess he can do Spidey stuff, but he doesn't feel like Spider-Man to me. He feels like a teenager on a field trip. That's what he feels like.
Okay, let's discuss that. You said you read comics, right, Poe?
I do read. I used to read comics.
What was Spider-Man's origins? The original Peter Parker. What was his origins?
He was a nebbish. He was a nerd who, a bookish kid. Although he was molested at some point. That was the thing that happened. If you didn't know, Peter Parker was molested by an older neighbor. That was the thing that happened in comics. He was pretty much a nerd, yeah.
The point here was being the entire arc that now is the most repeated fucking phrase in goddamn cinema, outside of, the most recent fucking film ever, is that when Peter originally got his powers, he got a little bit power hungry and crazy with them. He went from being a neat and a nerd to being, a jock asshole. And it was only after Uncle Ben died that he got the whole great powers, great responsibility bullshit. But the entire arc, the archetype of a Peter Parker versus a Spider-Man is kind of, it's similar to like your Clark Kent Superman, where Peter Parker himself is somebody who basically gets bitch slapped by the universe and is not allowed to have things. But at the same time, has to learn the balance between being humble and also coming in himself.
You know who that sounds like? That sounds like Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker.
Exactly. And that's why, when you say Tobey's Peter Parker is the best Peter Parker, I have to agree.
Okay, look, I believe that Tobey's Peter Parker is the best Peter Parker we have seen on screen. Yes. Does that mean he's a good Peter Parker? Not entirely, no.
Yes,
because Peter Parker has
out of all the Spider-Man movies that are currently out, that would make him the best Peter Parker. Yes,
the best live-action Peter Parker. Yes,
Yeah,
Oh,
so he is.
Negro, we are dealing with the films. That has to have 3. There are 3. If you want to go comics, we can go comics. But people are talking about the films, and you know these niggas don't read books.
I know that. Yeah, they don't read books. They don't.
If they did, Cinema Sins would not have a channel.
Oh. Oh.
This is your local plug to go watch the Birdman. Birdman.
Yeah,
The man
watch
who
Birdman.
actually
Birdman is
fucking
freaking
books.
awesome. Birdman is freaking awesome.
But no, he is the best live action. We just have to let that go. He's the best live action Peter Parker. However, like I said, I will give you Garfield's best Spider-Man. If he never takes the mask off. If he never takes the mask off and goes to that, hey, look, I'm cool Peter, I skateboard, and I try to fuck the policeman's daughter. If he never does that shit, it's fine. And
you
then,
know what?
oh my
I'm
God,
not gonna lie. I'm not gonna look. Amazing Spider-Man at that Amazing Spider-Man. It did capture some of. It did capture how Peter was pretty much the cool guy in the 90s.
What?
Yes, but
like Peter was like the cool guy, the chill dude. Like, oh, like I'm gonna use my spider powers to be kinky with Mary Jane or whatever. Like that was kind of his vibe during the 90s, Peter. That's kind of what I liked about it.
Are you sure you've watched those films?
It's a bit hard to say if I don't know if Poe's fucking with me, because at the same time, there's things that work with that character that they put in the Amazing Spider-Man and things that don't. Like,
what is your opinion on Blue? What is your opinion on Electro? On James? On what's his name? Jamie Foxx's Electro.
Jamie Foxx is a talented man that can do several things. However, at the same time, we have to cite a little bit of company incompetence, because a lot of what was being done to Spider-Man was only corrected because Garfield was the one they came to step in and say, hey, do you know what to do here? And he's like, absolutely, let me give you some notes. Here you go. Use that shit. Electro did not have the same deal. And it shows with how they chose to introduce that character. There was a lot about that introduction of that character's villain story that very much was kind of bad in general.
I agree.
I feel that the writing was bad. Jamie Foxx was working with what he had to deal with, and how they chose to treat that character's arc and then some death. Okay, all right, fine, but not fine. Because that then makes everything else in the film look stupid. Especially them just randomly shoving in comic see, I had a burp. Shoving in fucking comic references, like the death of policeman's daughter, because her name's not coming to my brain. Why isn't it coming to my brain?
You mean Gwen Stacy?
Yes, Gwen Stacy's fucking iconic tower death.
Yeah.
The most hilarious fucking whomp of the head on the ground I've ever fucking seen.
Oh god, that scene, I didn't expect that scene to actually be hit. I didn't expect him to show the hit on the ground. Like I thought maybe he would do it and he'd break her neck, but no, she just freaking like just smashed her head on the ground. I'm like, dude, what the fuck?
A good ass thunk. That's what it was.
Like you could hear it. You could fucking hear the sound.
Like there's so many. The chat said it. There's so many ways that his character got fucked over by the executives because both they know a little bit about Spider-Man, and that's only because the comic variation of Spider. I'm gonna go ahead and just label them. We're gonna go with modernity Spider-Man. It's gonna be fucking Tom Holland. Then you have the edgy Spider-Man. We're gonna call that Garfield's run, and then we're gonna have the best closest comic Spider-Man.
Wait, pause 1 second. Fist fight. You said rubber fist fight in the live chat. He says Peter started at 15. That's not in Ultimate Comics. He started out as 15. In regular comics, he was 17 and about to go off to college.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't exactly say, oh, he was in high school. I mean, not so much. Not really. That's not really factual on there. So just fact checking that. Continue, bro.
And while we're on that point, what was the fucking reason for them trying to include his parents in some like super secret?
Oh, that was also Ultimate Comics. His parents were Ultimate and regular comics. His parents have been SHIELD agents or stuff like that in the comics before. It's weird.
Ah, I forgot that part about that fucking comic run. Oh my god! Now that I'm thinking about it, that was such a stupid.
In fact, they actually brought back Peter's long lost sister in comics. Now I forget her name because she's so forgettable, but she's a Shield agent too.
It's like watching the CW and them trying to do their Crisis on Infinite Earths run, and you're just like, keep up with all these Supermen, you know? But okay, anyways. So, best Spider-Man. In terms of live action, going by character and then alternate identity. Best comic one for your best Peter is always going to be Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. Then your best in-suit, fight, combat, monologuing, quipping, that's always going to be Garfield.
Yeah.
MCU.
MCU, yeah.
So
what do we have to say about the MCU?
Okay, first off, Spider-Man is a hero who stands on his own, and part of what makes Spider-Man Spider-Man is the quipping, the attitude, the shots. Part of what makes the MCU annoying is what was basically the last fingerprint that we got out of man who cheated on his wife. I don't know why my brain won't say his name. I don't know if I forgot.
What's his name?
The director.
Kevin Feige? No, that's not what's his name? Joss Whedon. That's it. That's his name.
The Whedonisms, the fucking Whedonisms of the MCU started off with basically Whedon thinking, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make all my characters like Buffy and all my other shows written. So every character starts quipping off the cuff, right? Makes for really great banter. But here's the problem. Without Spider-Man's banter, and you basically also making him a child who's basically inexperienced with his powers, they wrote him into the MCU as he's had these abilities before. He made his own suit, which was a really nice nod to some iconic Spider-Man suit that they did bring back in Homecoming. I liked that scene. That was good. You made him young. You took out the best parts of his canon, and then you took out one of his qualities that makes him on the level of being a Merc with a mouth, or comparable to the Merc with a mouth, Deadpool himself. So all of these characters running around doing Spider-Man's thing, what does Spider-Man have? And their answer was, we're going to make him an apprentice to Iron Man.
That was dumb as shit. I'm not gonna,
and now, to try and hold it down, they're going to be like, oh, well, will he be able to stand on his own? Will he be able to stand on his own? That was supposed to be the entire point of fucking, what was the goddamn subtitle of the second film? Spider-Man on tour, Spider-Man something gone home. Was it Gone Home? My brain doesn't work anymore.
Homecoming?
No, not Homecoming. The second one.
No, Far From Home.
Far From Home was supposed to be them saying, oh, will he, won't he, will he be able to step into the mantle? Is he going to need somebody? Does he have to have that? His journey kind of is not even close to halfway. And they're like, oh, he's ready now. Okay, fine. You set that up, and then you had your Go Spider-Man scene, beat the shit out of the villain of the movie.
Finally uses spider sense. You know what? Yeah. You know what fucking pisses me off about that spider sense scene? Like, while it was cool, like, you had him in Infinity War dodging freaking meteors and falling spaceships perfectly while catching like half a dozen people, but all of a sudden he can't control his spider sense
because stress. You're so stressed out. Now, this makes sense if you're like, oh, he's just so stressed out because, you know, we just saved the world, dude. But your mentor's gone. Listen, it makes sense for him to be stressed, and that happened while Infinity War is happening, and then while Endgame is happening. But you brought him back, and now he understands the scope of the threat. So he can't be scared, because either he's there in the fight and he's struggling, or he's not struggling. And then you had your whole fucking moment with the pass-off of shit. So if you're saying, oh, well, he's just a bit trepidatious, he's still green behind the ears, he needs more time to learn, you could have explored that in Far From Home. But you didn't, because you were more interested in revealing, hey, guys, actually, Tony Stark is responsible for everything happening in the MCU, and we just want to remind you of that. Villains are just going to show up, and they're going to do shit. Right? Okay, cool, fine. Now you're saying, oh, he still needs to have a mentor, so he's going to have this as a mentor so that we could possibly actually set this up. How about you just let him be himself, and you didn't write him to be this character that basically now has not just a suit that is basically an Iron Man suit. Practically, it is an Iron Man suit.
No,
But-
I'm not. No, I'm not. No, that's not really fair because in the comics he has had suits similar to that. Like, although he did build them on his own as opposed to needing, well, except for one suit, like one Iron Spider costume. That was
Yes.
Tony. But he has built suits like that and better than that on his own.
Sorry to interrupt here.
Yeah.
I must departure. I am
No
currently
problem.
watching our sponsor for the stream build my custom computer, so I gotta.
That's great to
Oh,
hear.
heck
Good
yes.
job. Amy.
Yeah, so if you guys are looking for custom computers, there are sponsors, so you just go to Artesian Builds and they'll hook you up.
No problem.
Anyway, shameless sponsor plug for the stream. I'll catch you guys later.
Catch you later,
for
Amy.
having me on. Actually, for more,
Yeah. no
hopefully
kidding.
longer next time.
Yeah.
See you later, Lamb.
Bye, Amy. Love that girl.
She only
Okay.
said goodbye. She said goodbye only to the woman.
Aha.
This is why we can't have women.
Carl, continue what you were saying. I was really
I
into
can
what
hit
you were
that
just saying.
stop
there.
stream button if you'd like.
Not you, Lamb. You're smart.
Wait, you know what? Rubber Fist Fight actually made a point right here. I hate Spider-Sense being portrayed as this perfect system of protection that never fails. I prefer a version that he's still able to not react quite in time for. See,
I was gonna
Rubber,
say
I get
regular
that.
spiders get smushed all the time.
no, Rubber, I get that, but like, I mean, in the comics, like Spider-Sense is it almost never fails. It only fails when it's dramatic, when it's like to make a scene work or something, or
Blocking.
because someone has a reason.
Blocking.
So those are like rare occurrences. The rest of the time, he's basically better than a Jedi.
I mean, that's part of the problem that makes it very frustrating to see and have it happen on screen, especially in Far From Home, because it's always he was unconfident and now he's confident. So watch him to pull off this major level shit that's already done before.
No, but to be honest, the shit he did in Far From Home, like I could understand why it was portrayed as better, but because like he was like basically going without using his eyes, he was just going off of Spider-Sense alone, but in Infinity War, he was literally doing a lot of shit. They could have made it seem like a progression of his Spider-Sense, like he's just better at using it. But no, they was like, oh, your Spider-Sense stops working. You don't know how to use it. They could have framed it better. You know what I mean?
Yes, it's part of the problem, but it's not the entire problem. There's 50 billion other things on top of Iron Boy fucking Jr.
Iron Boy Jr. is a terrible move.
Iron Boy Jr. is the reason why they have to put him with Doctor Strange instead of just letting him be his own fucking hero, which is going to continue to make the character bad. Because if he's not his own hero, he's always going to have to be packaged with someone.
Did you actually notice for the new Spider-Man 3 that even though they established that he's his own hero now, they mentioned that Doctor Strange would be his mentor for the movie?
Yes, they did.
Yeah. Which
Realistically,
seems like a reversal.
The problem is that I understand what Marvel thinks they're doing, and they think it's clever, and it's really not. And it has almost nothing to do with the film, because this is actually a corporate meta decision. And the thing about this is that what they're doing is technically illegal, and also in general just isn't good. The reason why what they're doing is technically illegal, I know you don't watch Writer or anything to do with Toku, but this is something that happened in Japan several billion times. In Japan, you're not allowed to do things like, hey, we're going to make a streaming service and we're going to make content that's only going to be found there, and then tie things that happen in something that you have to buy with money to something that's in another form of material, right? So, for example, take WandaVision. For them to make WandaVision and then say, okay, now we're going to make films that are going to happen inside of the theater, and the only way you can even know context to this is if you pay money or, pirate. Please pirate, people. Don't pay your money to Disney Plus. Don't do that to yourself. In order for you to have context, you need to watch this thing here. Otherwise, you're left.
Fucking House of Mouse now.
You have to watch this shit.
It would be hilarious if Carl did get us canceled. Oh my god.
It don't. You have to, in order to understand this shit, you have to watch this shit. But it's behind a paywall, and if you don't watch it, you have to miss out on it. That in most other countries is an actual problem.
Yeah,
Because
the funny fucking thing was, I said, "Oh, I'm not gonna touch. I don't care about the MCU anymore." And then they brought WandaVision, and I'm like, "Fuck you, bitches!" Like I never thought I would see Agatha Harkness in live action. I never thought you'd actually go serious with magic is real. What you want to do, bitch? We're just gonna stick with it. Magic is real.
I agree with
Like-
this Edwin Solis person. Spider-Man is better off in his own world, and I think that's because the way anytime he's been presented to me in the MCU, it's been what somebody else said earlier is they turned him into a Robin. He's not even
That's
his
true.
own man anymore. He
That's
takes a
exactly-
backseat to everybody else.
Even in Marvel, like you almost never see any other heroes show up. Even though Spider-Man is in New York, even though he's swinging all over, you almost never see other heroes interact with him. It's basically like
Because
he's
part of
dealing with shit on his own.
yes,
and-
because if you have other characters around that character in their own solo series, it diminishes the power of that character. Which is why when you try to make something like a universe of films connecting all these characters, if you say things like, and this is common because this happens all the fucking time, it's why it's a meme amongst people who make reviews, especially when they're riffing on CinemaSins, they're like, why didn't they just call us other hero? Because then there would be no movie. There would be no reason for this to even happen. There would be no tension. There'd be no film. There would be no carrying into the other film. You would say, well, why don't we just have X hero when you have X hero? Why would you need a Spider-Man if you could literally just have somebody like Doctor Strange find some magical artifact that completely replaces the reason to have something like a Spider-Man or an Iron Man or a Hulk or
they
a Thor?
can't. I don't think they can. They can't have the X-Men in the MCU. To be honest,
They
it
can,
really-
but it wouldn't help.
no. It would like Magneto. Have Magneto show up once, and basically every threat that the Avengers have faced, that Tony has faced. Like it would be like, hey, this guy has been around this whole time, and he could have literally stopped all the Chitauri. Or this guy was around during Sokovia, and he didn't do shit to the giant metal army. Or
Actually, that's not completely accurate because as we've learned in Endgame, technically, the Ancient One, despite her never appearing before that, was indeed helping during the Chitauri attack in the Avengers. We know that because Endgame shows us that, so we know that that's canon in the universe. But realistically speaking, we have to assume anytime anything is happening, somebody somewhere is occupied with some shit. It's not like it's a case of, oh, well, why didn't they just call this while this is happening? If things are happening all at the same time. Because that's the problem with the MCU. Sometimes they forget scale, time periods. That's kind of why everybody scoffed at Captain Marvel, if you remember. Because it's like, oh, she's the first Avenger? All this is because she set it up in the 90s? Okay, where's she been this entire time? Oh, she's been off in space.
Wait, technically, she didn't even really set it up. If we're going to be honest, it was still Steve who set it up.
Oh, no, we lost Poe.
Oh, sorry. You can't hear me? You can't hear me?
You cut out for a second. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. It was technically still Steve who set it all up.
The problem is that they basically stole something from Captain America, because instead of it being, oh, the reason why the Avengers is possible was because we once had this super soldier way back when that sacrificed himself, and he was somebody who encouraged us to try to make the Avengers. It instead became, lol, the reason why it's called the Avengers, the reason why there's an idea for this is because I once met this fighter pilot who became a test pilot for an alien ship, got blasted with the powers of an infinity gem, and now she's a god. And, you know, we could kind of need a force like that out there, because she's not here. She's off in space somewhere. But she's just going to miraculously come back towards the end. So when she got that signal, just before he gets fully dusted from, character name, from, my god, why can't I remember people's names anymore? From...
Wait. No, because I've been thinking about this. I've been thinking about this all the way since when I first watched the movie back in like December, Captain Marvel. Like they said, oh, she's the first Avenger, but I'm like Steve showed up. His movie was literally titled The First Avenger. He inspired Tony's dad to be to talk about him all the time, made Tony the way he is because his dad always talked about Captain America and stuff like that, inspired the creation of S.H.I.E.L.D. Basically, everything. Captain America set almost everything up. And then they say, oh, she's the one who was the real Avenger because of her what's it called? Her jet, the name on her jet. Which really, she was an experimental pilot. They don't put nicknames on experimental jet pilots' planes because that's not their plane. Which is again another issue with the movie.
Look, they had to make. They already had the U.S. government signed on. They had to make the U.S. propaganda. We know what this is about. Well, I know what this is about. That film was going to be made like that regardless. They did what they had to do. It was very dumb. And now they're basically playing catch up with all their sloppy mistakes because it makes everything bad. And yes, Nick Fury, Black Nick Fury. In that scene where he gets dusted, if that pager hadn't gone off, there would be no Captain America. Or not Captain Marvel. I hate the fact that they don't just make her Miss Marvel because this is just the problem that you get with the names. But anyways, without Miss Marvel, I'm just going to call her Miss Marvel. Do not confuse myself. If you didn't have her there, you could have literally, in the time skip scene, have her come down and let her join, and let that be the beginning of her story. And then later, you can have this entire thing where it does not interact and force her into this big-ass story to try and set up that character with the actress as you did. Because since everybody basically hates Brie Larson, Soft Cheese is just going to have to deal with that problem. But even then, even to get back to the original thing, because we segue, to get back to even having him there, you having Peter Parker be in the Endgame fight shows us, well, he obviously has the potential, but he lost Tony. He lost his mojo. He doesn't know if he can do it. When he was just Iron Boy Jr. and nobody brought it up, he was able to do it. But Tony's gone. He's got to handle the pressure. He's not sure if he can handle it. So now, this story for Far From Home should have been, what do you do now that Tony is dead, and what implications does that have on the character since you chose to make him Iron Boy Jr.? I don't feel they handled it very well in the scene. I feel it was a great step for them to explore that, because since you're going to just have this Peter be basically a private school student, nobody he interacts with is realistically in this universe what we would have expected, not the Flash we would have expected, not the Mary Jane we would have expected. Don't forget, she's not Mary Jane. Yes, she's Michelle Jones. She's just Michelle Jones. She has the initials. Yeah, that's just fucking retarded too. Any person who excuses that, you're dumb. We know she's supposed to be Mary Jane. Don't you pass the shit on me.
That's how you really feel.
Listen, it is a sin. It is a sin every time they do this to us, the ninjas. Why would they take her? Why would they take Mary Jane? Why? Just why? Why would you do that?
Look, when you take away MJ, when you take away Flash, look, like, I get it. You want to be progressive. You want to show that bullies aren't all physical. But why would you take a tall, blonde, physically imposing bully and make him some spoiled rich kid, spoiled, wimpy-looking Indian rich kid? I don't get it. Why?
They went from tall, dark Henry VIII to thank you, come again.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ!
It's not even the right nationality technically. But not. Hey, I'm gonna make that joke anyways.
Here on Digital Blackface, we strive for diversity, and we don't actually promote any negative feelings or stereotypes toward anyone.
Oh, that's oh my God! I have to hire Lamb as a lawyer.
As a PR fucking counselor.
No, I can do it myself. Every time I make a joke,
you just went full Apu, and you're gonna say you could be your own PR. Oh no way!
I can, because I know that my joke is a joke, but somebody out there is gonna take it seriously, and I hope that you do.
True, but look, like you can't go full Bill Burr talking about women and then go to a feminist convention? Do they have conventions? What do women do?
They do.
What do women do at conventions?
Wash
Do they cook?
dishes.
Do they share recipes? What's going on there?
We knit.
Yeah.
Come on. We know feminists don't have conventions. They go to other people's conventions and pull the fire alarm.
Exactly.
And call
Also,
them
feminists
Nazis
don't know how to knit.
and garbage humans. But more important to the fact, we're black and she's a woman. We can do whatever we want.
Freedom. Is this what freedom feels like? I love it.
Yes, it does, brother. Yes, it does.
What a terrible time to live in America.
But listen.
Yeah.
Race washing. If you want to say, okay, alternate reality, guys, you can have a Tom Holland Spider-Man be different than the original source. I'm mocking the people who watch CinemaSins. You can have the original characters in the new universe with different characters. Yes, you can. But at some point, you need to make these characters important, or you are now Breaking Dawn.
No,
Breaking
no.
Dawn,
One
Phil.
question. No,
What?
Peter had a lot of girlfriends. Like, yeah, someone mentioned it right here. Edwin Saul.
Peter Fox.
Yeah,
Peter Parker Fox.
there was a black girl he dated. They could have just made her like this is high school. He didn't meet MJ in high school. He met her when he was out of high school. They could have literally done anything else. I don't get why they had to have her be MJ.
It's because she's iconic,
Without
so we
being
need to have her. We have to have her. If you don't give her,
At least give
us
her
a
red hair.
character.
At least give her dyed red hair. We'll know it's not real, but give her
Yeah.
Like
dyed
a
red hair.
throwback almost.
Give
Yes.
us something, you know? Give
Come
us
on.
something.
You gotta
Like throw
give
us the
that energy
fucking
back.
bone.
Come on, give us the mirror. Mirror her.
Like you remember I don't know if you guys watched Supergirl, but what they did to Jimmy Olsen in that fucking show is a crime.
Who's
Bro,
a Jimmy
like,
Olsen?
Bro,
Like
race
they
washing in
turned
general is crime.
they
Like, oh,
turned
boy.
a fucking nerdy ginger into a stock footage black guy. Like he doesn't even look like a striking black guy. He looked like a stock footage black guy.
He looks like a black guy who you put in a Starbucks commercial.
Exactly.
Holding the latte. Oh, I'm sorry, officer. Was I going too fast?
Like why would you make like the worst thing about it? Like they didn't just replace Jimmy Olsen. They replaced another redhead superhero, Guardian. They gave it to that guy. They made one black guy race wash two different redheads. How the fuck do you do that?
Hollywood progressivism. That's the only answer. However, we're getting distracted again, Poe.
Yeah, we are. Sorry, that's my fault.
Normally, this is my job.
Yeah.
How would I have to keep
So
you
which
on track?
Spider-Man has the best butt?
That would have to be. Wait, you mean live action? Live action, it would have to
There's
be.
only live action.
It would have to be Tom Holland.
You
It would have to be Tom
you
Holland.
could definitely draw Spider-Man with a thick old donk, but I think that it's probably more pressing matter about live Spider-Mans and whose butt is the best.
Guys, let me head into green room. I promised a few people they could say their piece on Spider-Man.
Okay, well,
let me just go talk to
when they
people.
come in, they've got to tell me which Spider-Man has the best butt. We'll be discussing it until then.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll go jump in and
Okay.
No problem.
So, Carl,
Oh boy. Ooh, best butt.
best
Final
Spidey ass.
rankings.
Who's got it?
Okay. Tobey Maguire probably has the best tightness and definition. Firm, fits in your hand, bubbled.
Okay.
But Tom Holland and also Garfield are just kind of like the best picture frame, statuesque, silhouette ass.
Like kind of
No.
like that chiseled ass, but without
Yes.
trying.
Yes, you know, that iconic Spider-Man, you know, that shit that they
Very
always try to claim
sleek.
about Spider-Woman, that very sexual, prowling Spider-Man ass. They
Yeah.
have probably the best definition to pull it off. Tom Holland, because he's slim and because he's small, he could probably pull it off best. But his back definition, him as a dancer, he can probably bend a bit more. So I'd probably have to give it to Tom Holland over that. But Andrew Garfield still can do it. So it's like a 50-50, but if I had to go down to preference, I'd have to say Tom Holland.
Okay, so we got JW with us. JW, what's your opinion on the Spider-Man issue?
Hold on 1 second. I'm driving and delivering a pizza. Hello, everybody. Can I be
Howdy,
heard?
howdy.
What's going on? What
Yes.
is bopping my N-words? All right. How is everybody?
We're good.
Fantastic.
Sorry.
I'm wearing tights and my ass is fantastic.
You trying to be Spider-Man?
Fantastic. So when I last left here to come back onto the Discord, I heard that we were talking about how they absolutely murdered every franchise in because they added women. All right. I heard that every single fault of every single franchise is because of a woman, specifically a white woman. All right, and they cucked our boy Peter Parker. They took away a ginger. I mean, I'm sorry. I heard someone specifically refer to her as a ninja, which I found kind of funny. I heard brief mention of Disney Star Wars, so I know I was in the right place. Captain Marvel is a white woman. That's why they hate her, because she's a white woman. So what?
Oh my god, I'm lightheaded. I'm fucking lightheaded. I've been watching.
God, I'm sweating and I'm wearing sweat.
Wait until the digital green skin episode. You're gonna be in for a
god.
fun
No,
time, my
I've
boy.
been laughing so hard. I literally got fucking lightheaded. What the fuck, man?
I mean, light skin makes you lightheaded. What can I say? That is the virtual Junos for you, my man.
Oh my god! We cannot. Oh my god! You are good.
Anyway, we need to actually get shit done. What's going on, my boy?
Okay. Who's your favorite live-action Spider-Man? Let's actually get to a topic. Who's your favorite
I'm gonna say this right now. I actually am quite a fan of Tobey Maguire.
Okay, why?
Because I grew up as you may or may not know, was born in 2001, so I grew up on the that Spider-Man trilogy from the mid 2000s, right?
You still a baby.
Wait,
So
you were
I
born in
think
2001?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
look,
I was.
Listen, you like 18-year-old or whatever, however old you are. Listen,
18.
I was born in 1997. I grew up on that Spider-Man too. But you know what? You know which Spider-Man that really hit home for me?
I'm not ready to hear this.
Smile.
It was Andrew Garfield.
Andrew Garfield, really?
Andrew Garfield, Amazing Spider-Man, yes. But look, we've already gone over how much like I prefer Garfield. But Raimi Spider-Man always felt like I was watching an episode of Power Rangers, like a overly dramatic episode of Power Rangers.
I can see how
that's
you
not
make that
fair.
connection, yeah.
Because that is a. Ooh, we're gonna talk about that one. Hold on. Go ahead.
Okay.
But
You don't talk about this. You ain't gonna shame Toku while I'm present.
but I was always
Look,
a fan of
I'm
that
not
one.
shaming Toku. I'm just saying that's what it felt like. Green Goblin, even Peter's acting in like during action scenes, it felt like an overly produced version of Power Rangers. I'm not gonna lie.
What do you think comic books are?
Okay, you know what?
But they definitely don't all read like Power Rangers.
They don't.
though.
Yeah,
They certainly don't.
Yeah.
Certainly
I mean,
not.
it's can we all at least agree that it's better than fucking high school aged Robin, Tom Holland looking ass MCU Peter Parker?
Yes.
Look, Tom
absolutely.
Holland
10,000%.
could be 50 years old and still look 15. I swear to God, I don't know what's
Tom
wrong with him.
Holland has ruined an entire generation of movies. He's like the new Ryan Gosling, but with half the talent and half the looks. They just want to put him in everything.
Ooh.
All right.
Okay,
That is a deep burn.
you know what? I thought you were about to say Ryan Reynolds, and then I was about to kick you, but you didn't insult the Reynolds, so you were
No,
good.
you can't insult
I
the
hate
Reynolds.
that
If
man's
you insult the
Exactly.
Reynolds,
face.
you ain't
I'll
black.
insult Ryan Reynolds.
Wait,
Fuck off with your fucking face. and
You
your
hate
stupid
Ryan
name.
Reynolds? You hate
I
Ryan
I hate
Reynolds?
Ryan Reynolds' face. That's it.
I love Ryan
You
Reynolds.
talk
I would
an awful
die
lot
for
of shit
Ryan
for a
Reynolds.
woman.
I would die for Ryan Reynolds, okay? Like
I
Ryan,
would suck Ryan Reynolds' cock.
like Ryan Reynolds could slap me across the face, and I'd only be a little bit angry.
Ryan
Only
Reynolds
a
could
little bit.
send me to the fucking fields, all right? And I would be like, yes, sir, massa. I'm going to be a good Sambo.
I'm sorry, I don't simp.
Okay,
Fucking
no,
hell.
I'm not simping for Reynolds. I'm just saying that man.
Reynolds could
that
slap
man,
me
like when I
across
was
the face, and I'd only be just a little bit mad.
look.
Fuck off, not
That-
simping.
I watched Van Helsing like 15 fucking times. Okay,
Base,
I watched like literally. Like I even watched that one movie where he was a cuck, and I was very angry.
You wanted to swap
during
the
that movie.
fantasy then, huh?
I was very angry during that movie, but that was because of the way that his wife treated him. Okay, but other than that one movie where he was a cuck, other than that movie where he was a cuck, like he's perfect otherwise. Even
But,
Green,
back to
even
the topic,
I
yeah,
love
I'll-
Green Lantern just because of Ryan Reynolds. Did I?
Oh no, we're all still. Oh, we lost a man.
no, he got disconnected.
Oh no.
Anyway.
Rick. Also, shout out to that one guy who said Spider-Ham is the best. I like you.
Okay, one question. PS4 Spider-Man. What's your opinion? Like, if that Spider-Man received a movie, would you watch it?
Technically, that movie already exists, and it's called PS4 Spider-Man.
Fair. Okay. But
however, do I like it? Yes. It's pretty much a good example of what I guess one would say in this time period and age in 2020 would be a good Spider-Man. It has all of the features that you could possibly look for in a Peter Parker and in a Spider-Man performance. A good use of Mary Jane. She is not just a woman who's standing there.
Okay, no. PS4 Mary Jane is the worst Mary Jane.
I said she's not standing there and damseling. I did not say she was a good character.
Is there a need for them to be anything more than a damsel, though, really? I mean, like, if we're talking seriously and not, coming at it from women need more representation in films or whatever. Like, is there actually a need?
The funny thing is, Mary Jane is rarely a damsel in the first place. She's not really often in that much danger. She's just doing her own thing as a model.
She does seem to just kind of like, I feel like she gets into trouble just very, very coincidentally a lot of the time.
No,
not like a
in the game,
your woman, Spider-Man.
In the game, she kept putting herself into trouble, which annoyed the fuck out of me.
Yeah,
but in the comics,
whole bitch away.
In the comics, Mary Jane is literally just doing her day job and then coming home to Spider-Man. Like, she's almost never in danger, honestly, which is really hilarious.
It just so happens to be that films require there be some kind of love interest, and then that love interest get threatened because the trope is superheroes are invincible, but if you can get to the people they love, which is, I guess, one of the better parts of, say, the Sam Raimi Spider-Man, because you have a full arc there to understand how relationships and secrets can make you make choices that you wouldn't normally make. So kind of the same thing that you had in Amazing Spider-Man, but to an extremely retarded degree. Oh boy, there's so many things. But the PS4 Spider-Man, it has no need to realistically make her do anything, but to answer your question, at the same time, yeah, they kind of have to give her something to do. Not because she's a woman, and not because she's a side character protagonist, but because they would definitely indeed look for something for her to do, not just because she's a woman, and a white woman, but also because the way that games development is ran, you would have people chirping, saying, why wasn't she doing anything? Why was she just there? Why didn't you make use of that character? Why couldn't you write? Why couldn't you blah, 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 blah? And it would be a never-ending shitfest. So her being in danger, her doing things, her being interesting, her having a character arc, her reacting to choices that Peter makes, learning information like, oh, so you have a child with Black Cat? Really? They have to do that. Not allowed to not let her do things. She has to do something. It doesn't mean what she's doing is good. It doesn't mean what she's doing makes sense. But she has to be there and be active. You know what I'm saying? She can't just be in the story and it's like, hi, I'm Mary Jane. I work at this coffee shop that he occasionally comes to. I don't want to get any trouble.
Wait, isn't that Iris from The Flash? Isn't that just Iris from The Flash? Season 1 at least.
Yes, it is. That is Iris from The Flash, and then she becomes a speedster. That's a whole different can of worms on its own.
We really should talk about the CW at some point.
That's something you're gonna want to have Jay for, because I
want Jay on here so she can just rail in. Like, look, if I could give Jay, I want this podcast to be Jay's metaphorical dildo for her to rail Batwoman with. But yes, you could have an entire stream of different podcasts just railing on shows from the CW in general, because the CW is a nexus of bad writing and bad writing choices. Not just because of the race washing, but because they have this sycophantic need to force characters to be important more than they are so that they can justify keeping the actor on the show. But also trying to do it for reasons' sake. It's the reason why race washing is so horrible. Because you're doing two things at once. You're telling us, oh,
you know, we could have created a character. You know, we could have taken some canonity. We could have, first off, rule 0. This is not the original work. We can do what we want here. That's what should be printed on most shows. Because when you buy a franchise to make content from it, the first thing that usually happens is they say, oh, you know this character who historically has always been this one thing, they always have been, always will be, has never really changed, except until the creator died? Yeah, we're going to just change the race, and we're going to race wash them now. We're going to act like nothing's different. They're the same character. That shit is number 1, on top of rule 0. You telling the audience, oh, we could have created a unique black character that could have had an entire arc. They could have been important. They could have been in a reality-separated version of a character that already exists, and they could just be that version for the CW. But no! You don't get to have those things. So instead, you get the sloppy seconds, bitch, which then, 2, we take that character, we put them in the position of a character that already existed. I don't care if they're your fan favorite. We have to have this. And then part 3, because we're doing it for representation, and then there's an optional part 4 and 5, where it then becomes, and to dunk on the chuds, and then part 5, to make people mad.
You know, the funny thing is about the CW, they can't stand to have any redheads. Like even the redhead they didn't change to black, which is Batwoman. Instead, she had an actress with black hair. Like they couldn't even just dye her hair. They couldn't make her hair red for the actual show. They just gave her the red wig like for Batwoman. But even the character had red hair before she put on the wig.
Are there any red-headed male superheroes?
Yeah, there's Wally West. There's Red Arrow. There's a bunch of them, really. Yeah, no, Speedy is Red Arrow. Guardian, who they made black in Supergirl. There's a bunch of them. There's at least a bunch of them. Yeah.
There's a lot more superheroes that aren't just in the DC that also are redheaded. Like, oh boy, are there like 12 of them inside the X-Men? Not counting Jean Grey. I'm pretty sure that's an accurate number. X-Men saying they need to spread that gene around right. It's like the Jews, but gender.
Or that.
Oh yeah, Guy Gardner, the Green Lantern.
Indeed, but yeah, gingers are common in a lot of works, and it's the trope that a lot of people are familiar with.
Quick question:
I don't think ginger men get sexualized quite the way ginger women do.
Because look, ginger women
I know they hit different, but why?
Yeah, they do. I don't know. It's just
you gotta know.
Wait, quick question. Carl, Daredevil on Netflix. Was he ginger or brown haired?
Daredevil himself was not ginger. He had brunette hair.
Yeah, see, in the comics, he's a ginger.
Yeah, that's something that I guess Charlie Cox said, no, I'm not going to dye my hair. But honestly, would it matter? I feel it would have mattered. Daredevil's a good character. But it's something we could have had. But to answer the other question, I can tell you exactly why men hit different with ginger women. It's because they're soft. It's because they rock both denim and also several colors of plaid. Well, the freckles are a horny detector that upon seeing them, a man immediately smells the woman in his vicinity. And then the eyes. If she has striking green Irish brogue eyes, and you see her with long, luscious red hair,
Carl, we are gonna have to. I'm gonna have to hit you with a tranquilizer. I'm gonna have to hit you with a tranquilizer because you're being too horny on this podcast.
I'm just giving you the truth. I'm telling you. But anyways, literally,
I am the mistake. They say, do you guys think it'd be possible for Shinji Toto, 65-year-old Japanese Spider-Man, to make an appearance? Well, possible, maybe. Yes. Safe possibly. For his health, maybe not.
Yeah.
But to finish my point, if she basically looks like the corduroy girl from Gravity Falls, that instantaneous horny. The same way that buff ginger lumberjack men for women hits the same.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
true.
know.
That's true.
I don't think. I mean, maybe I'm an outlier, and it's very possible that I'm an outlier. But like big buff ginger men. Okay, first of all, I don't see them. Okay, most of the ginger
Okay,
boys
they're rare.
I see
They're
are
rare
like,
though. They're rare.
they're Twinkie at best most of the
Yes.
time.
Most
I'm
of
not
the
gonna
time-
lie.
I'm not gonna lie.
Most of
I'm not
the
gonna
most
lie.
of the ginger men I've seen do look a bit like Ron Weasley. I'm not gonna lie on that one.
Yeah, they don't get, you know, there's, I don't know if it's a gene that prevents them from getting like fucking buff as shit, or it's like a mental state that they cannot enter to do the workouts to get to the
I
buff
understand
state.
why. I understand why. First of all, being ginger and pale, they can't. Going outside is not the best idea for them in the first place. So they obviously are predisposed from getting exercise in the first place.
I suppose they're not. I mean, you can still go to a
I mean,
gym.
Amazon Prime. Listen, going out in a whole fucking tracksuit and then finding your local Planet Fitness or Max Fitness or whatever fitness business you go to for your exercise, that ain't hard. And at the same time, Amazon Prime is $12.99 a month. They can inbox themselves some goddamn weights. Get a Bowflex. Fuck. Buy some Billy Blank tapes. Doesn't stop you from getting just a basic dance workout
You know,
in a large space.
jazzercise.
Jazzercise.
You talk shit.
Yeah, let's Zumba. Let's Zumba it. Let's Zumba.
You talk shit. You talk shit, and yet any person can go to a hip hop dancing class. Anywhere you are. Suburbanites, inner city, whatever. You get a dancer's body, you will start building lean muscle. It can do it. It can be done.
Edwin Solis might have the answer. He says most ginger dudes are already bald like Bill Burr. Maybe they just have a gene that makes all their hair fall out really fast. You never know they were ginger in the first place. Also,
Yes.
I knew one actual ginger man in my life. And later on, when they get old, right, their hair doesn't turn silver, it turns blonde. So you might never even know that they were a ginger in the first place if they even keep their hair that long.
Realistically, in my experience, if the ginger dude is not a giant hulking man-meat tower, he is a full-on twink and the biggest bottom. We could probably ask Panda about
With
this,
a really
actually.
nice round pink ass.
Yes. How do we keep getting these sidetracks?
First of all, I blame you.
Live
I blame
pony
you.
posting.
No, you asked the question, homie.
Which one? Which homie?
Okay, back to the point.
Oh my god, I love
What
Frankie
was the
Foster.
point? What was the point?
The original
the
point
point?
that our guest brought us
Replacing,
up.
Oh, wait, no,
replacing
no.
redheads
Yeah.
with black
No.
characters.
Opinion on the Miles Morales Spider-Man game. Let's talk about that real quick.
That was always going to be what exactly it was offered to be, which was, hey guys, a whole new campaign DLC. You're still getting the original game, but you're also getting an additional campaign DLC. It was never going to be a separate game. You already know that you're too lazy to do that. So the people who were out there screaming, crying, saying, I can't believe you never give us anything black. You never. Shut the fuck up. Shut your whole mouth. Shut your whole mouth. Because you didn't care until you heard that was happening. Just like they were screaming and raging and whining for Black Spider-Man. And yet none of them read the story for Miles Morales in the comics before they heard about Into the Spider-Verse. Realistically, Into the Spider-Verse is the only time that I've ever seen, for comic book movies at least, there's an entire subsection of things that try to do this, especially when you're like movies and films and series that are based on books. It's the only time for comic books, in terms of Into the Spider-Verse, where you had a straight up, listen, the thing that I just literally explained about the CW, a perfect, listen, it's not the Spider-Man you usually see, but just let us play that. Just let me get the tip in. Just let me get the tip in. And then by the end of the movie, they are deep dick stroking you with, oh yeah, you love this Miles Morales. You love this character. He's the best thing ever. Oh yes, because they gave you a complete character. You gave him personality. You gave him a proper Spider-Man setup, complete with his own Uncle Ben in the case of the Prowler, and then you were allowed to allow him to be his own character. The entire film's arc is, can you be Spider-Man? And they did that. They own it. They ate it up. Their entire ass was showing. And they said, yes, bitch, I did it. What are you going to do about it? And we're like, oh my God, can't believe it.
Spider-Verse. I didn't think I was going to, but I really, really did.
It was a great
Honestly,
movie.
There's so many things that happen in Into the Spider-Verse. We had our first ever example that wasn't even sold. Female Doc Ock.
We've talked about female Doc Ock before on here. And they did it right. They did it so right. Because they crept into it. They didn't make a big fucking deal out of it. It's just like, I'm Doc Ock.
It was beautiful.
I think I've said before that I think it might be easier to gender swap a villain than it is a hero because the expectations are slightly different. But it was a really, really good move. Completely smooth. I wasn't expecting it. And I didn't think about it until later, but I was really pleased with it, where they didn't just shove it in my face.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a female Doc Ock before, but they actually made her own. Like, she came into her own here. This was like I could see that being a standard even in the comics. Just her attitude, her personality, completely different from the megalomaniacal fat Doc Ock that people know.
Also, Poe, pull in the people who are asking.
Just pull in Bully Theater first.
But absolutely,
no problem.
Absolutely, Lamb. It was
Bully Theater.
Yeah.
Okay, Bully Theater Kids.
Yep.
Yes.
What up, Bully Theater Kids?
Yo.
Howdy.
Yeah. Hi.
Is that it? Just yo.
Oh, hold on. Give me a second. I'm pausing the stream. Okay. Hi. Hello.
Oh, he was shy.
Well, we're talking about female Doc Ock right now, right? With,
yes.
With
yeah.
That reminds me of Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, right?
Yeah.
Was that like? Did that thing like happen before in the 2099 comics? I believe.
Female Doc Ock in 29. I don't remember.
I do not remember either.
Because that's where that was implemented in the game.
Ah, I see.
That was like she was like her own thing. Very vague about it, but that she was like her own thing.
Was it the same character arc? Was it the same personality?
I don't know, because I personally have never read the 2099 comics, but I know about the. Yeah.
The 2099 comics were an interesting mix, and honestly, I didn't really care about them until I found out that the big bad of the 2099 comics, the guy who owns the company that Spider-Man 2099 works for, is actually just old Peter Parker, who has become a Lex Luthor type villain, and is also Spider-Man 2099's dad.
What?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
That makes it weirder because like the fucking names are different.
Yeah, he changed his name for some reason. I don't know.
For tension. Because, oh, you're my dad.
Oh my god.
Writing is not always the best thing. It is usually the first thing that goes out the window.
I'm gonna be
the
honest.
Next thing that goes out the window is the black characters.
Right. I'm gonna be honest in regards to the new Spider-Man movie. I honestly couldn't really give less of a shit. I'm so fucking tired of these Marvel movies. I'm being fucking honest here. I am fucking fatigued. I'm glad we've had a year without them. Can we have more?
Absolutely. Let them bitch rest for like 5 fucking generations before you come back to it.
It's like what they did with Star Wars, where you have like a fucking movie every year. Like normally it used to be like you have a Star Wars movie every like 3 years or so, and it'd be like, oh, it's fucking magic. It's just it feels like this special event because it happens like once every few years.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you have that, you know, it just gives you that sort of nice feeling that it has. Like it's just, oh, this is such a wonderful opportunity to enjoy what people have come up with. But now it's just like it feels like nothing.
Yes.
The Marvel movies just they feel like absolutely nothing.
Yes, because on one hand, what happens is what you think, oh man, when's the next Marvel film gonna be? And you're like, oh man, we gotta wait. And it's good because then you anticipate it. Maybe there's some things building up that sell it. This was kind of half the reason for making Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Agent Carter, but they ended up canceling those shows on ABC.
I never got into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Was it even worth it?
Right up until the Inhumans arc, where Inhumans fell flat on its fucking face. Yeah, it was actually pretty decent. And then they never did their Marvel Most Wanted show that they were trying to spin off out of that one as well.
Yes, Inhumans, that thing that showed up in IMAX for some reason for like the first 2 episodes.
Because they wanted to make Inhumans into the new X-Men.
Oh, God. Oh.
And that was before the plans to merge the companies, so that was dog shit.
Well,
great decisions, guys.
Well, you see, I know how they're gonna fucking like implement like the X-Men shit. They're gonna do some like fucking multiverse dimensional merging thing, and that's how they're gonna fucking do it. You can't you can't just throw out a half-ass retcon like you did with Captain Marvel, as ill-advised as that was already. But there's too much to really gloss over for something like that. So
technically, they tried to do the thing, which was what New Mutants was supposed to be. And I have not watched that film yet personally. However,
I want to watch it on the Discord personally. I want to watch it on the Discord.
All right.
When? Because if you don't do it in the morning, I'll never be able to show up because I don't get back
Okay,
from work.
let's see. I'll probably won't be able to do it in the morning. That's morning is like a
Listen, some of us wake up at 4:30 a.m.
That's not gonna happen.
You don't have to be up at 4:30.
I was gonna say I'm still awake at 4:30 a.m. So I'm up.
Like I got a new job. I gotta stick to a sleep schedule. So you know.
Right.
When do you go in? Because I go in at 2.
I go in at 9 a.m.
Okay, so that would not happen then.
Yeah.
It have to be after I get back after 10. But however, that's not shit for us to talk about right now.
Yeah.
The thing that they tried to do in New Mutants is they were like, oh, we're going to try to reintroduce the X-Men, but they're going to be darker. You know, it's like their version of trying to do Justice League Dark. Trying to include characters like Ilyana Rasputin, my favorite one, outside of Psylocke, Magic, and a whole bunch of other characters that people don't know about because either they didn't play Marvel Heroes before that game shut down, the fucking distaff counter clone of Diablo 2 that it was,
right,
or they were not fans of like X-Men during the time where games like X-Men Legends was big. You know, before their decision to try to make their first class films.
Right.
Those characters were supposed to be their version to do that and to try to include it so it's like, maybe we do it, maybe they'll be there, maybe they won't, you don't know. But then it was in development hell forever. And then it came out and it sucked and it was dog shit. So now the only way they're going to be able to do it is that they either do a multiverse event or it's its own series of films rebooted yet again. Please do not let that motherfucker near it anymore. The one who they basically said, no, you fucked it up last time, and then they gave him the helm again. But they have to do either a separate universe or as shit that's happening somewhere else in the MCU, because the X-Men in themselves are good enough to make a universe of films. Yes, they are Marvel, but please don't cross them over. Unless you're going to do things like, you know, Storm and Black Panther, but how do you do that once you've just lost your best Black Panther actor? Yeah. Which they have to recast. Please do not please, for the love of God, for everything that you're worth. If you're listening, if you ever listen to it,
do not recast.
Do not. No, they have.
They're not going to do it. They're not going to do that.
But please, dear God, do not kill T'Challa. Do not. He's too important to Marvel fucking lore. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
How are they going to pass it off then if they're not going to kill him off?
The same way that they passed off fucking War Machine. Exact same way.
You see, okay, the reason that worked is because it was like really early on, like before the whole MCU thing, but now you have all this established bullshit and like more people are going to notice than not. I mean, people notice with the whole recasting of Rhodey, but I feel like they're too deep into it at this point.
No. New era. You already have a perfect candidate to take over. Because here you are saying, oh, is Shuri the smartest character? You remember this shit. Oh, you and I, but we bonded over this shit.
They keep going on about that.
But they already have Shuri in the comics become the Black Panther. You can literally
that was a different look. That Shuri was like that Shuri looked more like
a good character. That Shuri was a good character.
Although
And
they
that
they are
actor
trying
had
to
that
like,
body.
they're trying to rewrite that Shuri in Marvel Comics though.
But even then,
Of course
even then, if you wanted to go that route, I don't think they should go that route. But if they wanted to go that route, they can say, "Hey, Shuri is she? Our character of Black Panther does not want to be Black Panther anymore. After fighting the war, he said, it is not time to have more war. It is time for a new way, a new path, a new life. Make my sister the Black Panther." And he can just go off and do shit. Let this be the excuse for him to go learn fucking shadow physics. Get closer to the fucking elders. I don't care. Let him go away for a bit, go on vacation. Then when that character becomes relevant again for the story, sometime during, say, like, Secret Wars, because if they're smart, and also they hate Don Cheadle, they should put Captain Marvel and War Machine together on screen in the films. Because this is the only way they're going to ever get any value out of her, is to go that villain route that they just had in the comics for Captain Marvel. Do that. Let him come back around whenever they want to pull the trigger on Secret Wars. New actor. You're going to do the exact same thing you did with War Machine. You're going to be like, oh, wow, that you went on a deep trip. Where did you go? I studied the secrets of the darkness and learned about shadow physics. So I took a bit of liberties with my face. How do I look?
Oh my god.
Some smooth shit. Some smooth shit. Because you already fucked up the characters anyways, trying to make everybody quippy. So just do the quippy shit. What's stopping you? But anyways.
The problem is I'm tired of the fucking quippy shit, though. It's like every fucking movie.
Because Joss Whedon. We talked about this.
Yes.
We didn't know.
Joss Whedon.
But anyways, don't let me take up your time.
That's fine. I think it's gonna look fucking weird if they try to do like the multiverse Spider-Man thing. That's just it's still rumor.
That's also because how they're drawn.
Yeah.
It's mostly because of the whole, again, MCU formula where they barely do anything different with the MCU movies, and they just and we're going back to the whole Joss Whedon thing where it all feels the same. There's almost like no tone difference in any of the movies.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of why Infinity War worked, because you still could have the quippy shit, but you had your serious dramatic moments and they worked. But now that you don't have the Russo brothers anymore, and you only have like James Gunn working on one Marvel movie, and maybe Doctor Strange 2 will turn out alright because, as long as you don't fire Sam Raimi.
Mm-hmm.
Like they did for Edgar Wright for the first Ant-Man.
Poe, you should pull in Mothra.
Yeah. She
Oh,
wants in.
Mothra? Okay. Let me
she wants
see.
in.
Mm-hmm.
Let me.
Go ahead and finish your point if you wanted to let out. Just finish your point first.
Yeah. Well, I'm only excited for maybe a couple more of the Marvel movies, just at all. That's if they come out at all. That's if that's if Disney doesn't fucking freak out and quit on the fucking MCU.
I mean, is it worth giving a shit anymore? Just to be honest.
I don't feel like it really is. I kind of want to see what Gunn does with Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad should be better than Suicide Squad. I hope.
Oh,
It will be.
God.
It has to be. It has to be.
I fucking hope so. Oh, sweet Jesus, I hope so. That movie was just so fucking bad. Jesus.
At least
I mean, okay, look, first of all, Suicide Squad. I liked it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not that hard to please. It's just
obviously.
Well, look, I mean, at least when it comes to entertainment, I'm not that hard to please.
We've noticed.
It just
entertainment wise, the movie could just touch your leg and you will bust 5 nuts in a row. We know this.
Like if I do,
this is what it does to you.
Mm-hmm.
No, look, I'm gonna lie. Like literally, entertainment wise, I'm not that hard to please. If you don't fuck up, I will go like, you know what, that wasn't that bad.
Well, realistically, realistically, that's any audience member. we're in a time period where people will start the content, right?
Look,
So,
when it comes
as long-
to media consumption, I am the common denominator. I can and will turn my brain off if I want to. I could turn my brain on and be worse than cinema. Well, no, CinemaSins doesn't turn their brain on.
They don't have brains. What do you mean? They
No,
can't
I could turn my brain on and be the most condescending, pretentious, artsy fartsy movie watcher and be like, oh, this movie didn't properly explore the character's themes and essence, and I feel like this is tearing apart the layer between audience and viewer, whatever you want to go with.
So the bastard
comic
child of Jack Saint and CinemaSins.
Yes, but I'm gonna tell you right now, if you can give me a movie that isn't shit, I will take an ice cream scoop to my own brain for the entire 2 hours or however long runtime your movie is. I will literally drool and accept whatever you give me as long as it isn't shit.
Thank
Okay?
you,
Movie
Eric
that isn't
Weiss,
shit.
says,
Suicide Squad.
I'm not
Pick
that
one.
hard to please. You'd enjoy my book.
Ooh, what are you right, Eric?
That's why I could look at Suicide Squad and go, yeah, they could have done better, but still be like, you know what?
Hold that thought for just a moment. I saw some
Fine,
trend in
okay.
the chat. He said, so Twin Perfect, excuse me. Twin Perfect is the
Twin
person who's out
Perfect.
here giving us content, okay? If you have not watched his videos covering Twin Peaks, Twin Peaks The Return, and all that other shit with that film, that is delicious. That is good content. That is up there with Scrofilla. That is up there with the Birdman. We do not say that sinful shit in this house. Don't make me get my belt.
Look, I'm gonna be honest. Look, I will be your perfect audience member as long as you don't feed me shit. Okay, like I liked Suicide Squad as much as I could like a movie that's not that good. Did I like Man of Steel? Not particularly. No. Like I could watch
for me.
Yes, that. It was too much grimdark with Superman for me. Did I like Batman v Superman? Not really. In fact, to this day, I still haven't watched past the Martha scene.
Oh, hey, but Poe, has there really been any comic book movie that has, got you to where you were just so critical of it that you're like, you know what, just
Captain Marvel. Captain fucking Marvel. Captain fucking fuck me, Marvel.
For my boyfriend knows the Thor movies.
The whole time I was watching this movie, like, no, when I saw her thing in Infinity War, when I saw the pager, I was like, yeah, fuck it, she's coming in, she's gonna save the fucking day. This bitch is gonna be the best hero in Marvel.
For this?
That first night I watched it in a shitty $5 theater. Yes, I watched Infinity War the night it came out. My brother picked me up right after my midterms. It was a surprise to me that he was doing it. We watched it the first night it premiered in a shitty $5 theater in a shitty part of town. And you know what? I was hyped for Captain Marvel. I was like, yes, this bitch is going to save the day. And then I saw what they were doing. I saw the news. I saw the advertising. Like, wow, how do you destroy my hype? How? I was more hyped than a Redditor for Captain Marvel. And they just destroyed it. That's why I was so... like, you guys saw how I railed against Captain Marvel on Twitter, right?
Yes.
That was me after I literally had that bitch on a pedestal.
Mm-hmm.
And then they ruined my hype.
DM me your P.O. box so I can send you pop vinyls.
And literally, that's why I was so like, I watched the movie in December. I pirated it, I watched it, and I was like, wow, I have never been so bored watching a Marvel movie in my life. This is so fucking predictable. This is so fucking stupid. This is so fucking boring. Why is she being such a bitch to Nick Fury this whole movie? Like, it all sucked. I was like, I felt like the Birdman just picking on every single plot. I've never done that in most movies. Like, I don't remember a movie I have nitpicked. Well, Rise of Skywalker. I didn't even nitpick Rise of Skywalker as much as I nitpick Captain Marvel. And I watched both of them like a week apart. I also watched Cats. Well, no, I nitpicked Cats more than I did nitpick Captain Marvel. But that was fucking Cats, okay?
Andrew Lloyd Webber films are always an experience, and Cats is an acid experience. that I'm not ready to have again.
I
Because
saw
I
Cats with my
remember,
mother. She loved it for some reason. I don't know
Yeah.
why.
I can say this about films that get adaptations when they start out as plays. The play is usually better live, and for Cats, the play is better live because it's supposed to be about the spectacular dancing and also the spectacular.
Also, I'm not
singing
gonna
and
lie.
dance.
I'm not gonna lie. As bad as Cats was, the spectacular Mr. Mistopheles is a song that I kept singing for weeks or months after it came out. It was on my Spotify. Like I'd be washing dishes and I'd be like, the magnificent Mr. Mistopheles or
Oh
whatever
my
the fuck it
God.
was. Like
Yes.
I could not
Like-
stop.
Like we have to remember. Yeah, you have
Cats-
to remember. It's-
Cats turned me into Jack from Will and Grace when it came to that fucking song.
that's the thing you have to remember.
I was an
Andrew Lloyd
early
Webber-
2000s gay man every time that song came on.
Poe, you need my help.
Early
You need better
2000s?
musicals. I'm
No,
sorry.
that would have been nice.
When aren't you
You
gay?
do need
I
better
was gonna
musicals.
say-
You do need better musicals. Oh my god.
That's you know nothing of the gay community in the 2000s. Do not speak.
We've learned so much about Poe in the last 10 minutes.
Look, you have no idea. Like that song was stuck in my head. Like apart from like the Taylor Swift scene, which was very, very. It was just furry bait. This whole movie, but the Magnificent or whatever that song about Mr. Mistopheles, I kept singing that shit, and I was like, why is this song stuck in my head? Why am I reciting it from memory? Thankfully,
Because Andrew Lloyd Webber. That's the answer you need. You gotta remember, you're watching musicals. Musicals have a way of having shit performances when they're translated into movies, but still decently okay. It's how I
Cats
feel
isn't
about
even a
Phantom.
good musical.
It's not, but the music can still slap sometimes. I catch myself singing memories. Fuck. But more importantly, Poe, you forgot the best part about the Captain Marvel hype between both
What?
you and what I did on Twitter. Remember when people called us monkeys and also the raccoon, but without the raccoon?
yeah.
For that shit. You remember when somebody got
What?
so fucking outrageously mad that Tony Goldmark tried to come at both of us because they're like, "Oh, you're not allowed to do that." And his quote that I still remember to this day, because people got suspended for trying to say that shit to me, was, "You're not allowed to criticize these things because you've never made movies." While this man, supposedly a filmmaker, was so upset that I not only have been an actor in projects, but also was using the exact terminology while I was reviewing Cobra Kai Season 2, while I was live tweeting it, that he outright, furiously called someone to call an acid attack on me. Ladies and gentlemen, the cope was big. The cope was really, really big. I don't know why they were so mad about
What
Captain
movie
Marvel,
was
but they
this
were.
over?
Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
Oh wow.
They
I'm
were
going to
fucking
remind you-
furious. They were
I'm
fucking
gonna
furious.
remind you that Goldmark is that same little bitch that basically just makes videos on fucking theme park rides. That's just called a fucking fame. I'm just gonna remind y'all.
I
That's a
never
little
expect
sad.
anything. I never expect anything out of any person that was on Channel Awesome.
His
Just to be
name is
clear.
literally some jerk with a camera, and it fits.
Mhm. But they were so
Wait,
outrageous.
quick question.
Yeah. What?
If the guy with the glasses could make a movie, what do you think it would be like?
But
Oh,
they have.
the
They
Boldly
already
Flee.
made them.
The Boldly Three. It would be the
Really
Boldly
don't
Flee.
wanna think about
I
it.
say that because Kick-Assia was actually okay and decent, but the Boldly Flee would be exactly what you'd expect from it. If you were to say if it was a TV series, what it would be like? It would be like Demo Reel, because he is not very good. Which he was better when he was doing 5-second movies than when he tried to make the Nostalgia Critic his moneymaker. Because when
Doug
with the
peaked
loss
in
of
2008, 2009.
yeah, pretty much. Because when they tried to like transition the site into being, hey, this is where you get that guy with the glasses, and then here's a bunch of these other motherfuckers, it was just kind of exactly what you got. The Nostalgia Critic and then a bunch of other motherfuckers. To bring it back to Tony Goldmark just for a second, because I love roasting this man. It is fun to roast this man. The reason why he was so fucking upset was because when I analyzed that scene, the deleted scene from Captain Marvel, the supposed "you should smile more" scene with the biker. What was the character's name? The Dawn. When I broke down every single fucking frame by frame second of her facial expressions to show that every part of this scene was intended to be in character for Carol Danvers. He got so mad that I did that, despite himself then going on to do the exact same fucking thing. Because his entire cope after he did that shit, because he did not look good for doing that, especially with the calling for my acid attacks on me. The reason he did that shit was because his entire cope was, well, you can't just do that. The scene was deleted. No, that's not how that works. If the scene was recorded, it means it was originally supposed to be in the production, which means that was inside of the scope of her character, which means it's in tone for her to have done that. For her to decide, hey, this man, where I could have just said, anything else, done anything else, I'm just going to torture him. I'm just going to torture him with my Kree powers. I'm going to make him fucking give me his jacket and his shit at the threat of violence because he told me to smile while I was trying to read a map, rather than do what they eventually decided to go with in the theatrical cut. For her to do that is pretty sociopathic, which kind of makes sense. This is Captain Marvel we're talking about. But to try to argue, oh, it's not in character tone. Oh, so everything that was inside of a deleted scene that would have made a character better, would have added context, would have made anything make more sense, that's just not in the scope of the film. There are so many films, there are so many projects, there are so many things that are made better by things that should have been in the project that was left on the cutting room floor, either because it was taken out by the executives, either because it was taken out because of time, either because it was done for whatever reason, whether it be corporate meddling to, well, the actor decided they didn't want to do that scene. There are so many things that make scenes better or worse. Even if it makes you look bad, you should have put that in the fucking film, because then at least it helps with the character arc of fucking Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel. Because Carol Danvers being sold as, oh, this is the strongest Avenger ever. She's the strongest thing. There is no character stronger. Even she's stronger than even the Hulk. The problem that happens there is that you lose a part of character, and specifically her emotional state and how she's able to cope with her emotions. Actual literal, how she deals with controlling her emotions and being manipulated. This was a problem with Jude Law's character. I can't remember his character. I want to call him fucking Jens Stitt.
Jan Rog.
Jan Rog.
I was never going to remember that.
Yeah, it's one of those names that you're like, you hear something before and you're like, no, that can't be the character's name. But anyways, Jan Rog, emotionally manipulating her at the beginning of the movie. If your entire angle for this character would have been, yes, she's the strongest Avenger, but how can she handle her emotions? Would have been a great setup for you to then lead into Captain Marvel 2. Because now you can set up a villain that abuses the fact that, oh yeah, you're the strongest, but watch me fucking psychic daggers your ass all over the universe because you can't control your emotions and keep your fucking cool. It would have been so great because you could have been doing two things at once. Because this was their angle with that character. The girl power, girl boss, yes, we can do anything. Fucking soundtrack and idea for her character. It works only if you're going to poke fun at and satirize it. And the reason why it only works is because you already did all this Joss Whedon shit. So what's stopping you from actually satirizing yourself? That would have been the greatest thing they could have done. Because if they didn't go for the empowerment, I don't have to actually do anything I want, and it started off not as, well, I'm just going to do that because girl power, fuck man, Cam. Rather than that, you start off with the psychic daggers, you making her react emotionally, and her having to think through her problems, and it not literally be solved by her turning on God mode in the film. She would have had to center herself, think about what's happening, learn to see through manipulation, because that's part of what even makes her capable to do that. The chip on her neck is basically a power limiter. As soon as she took that, it's God mode, right? Instead, don't make her controlled by a chip and a power limiter. Instead, make it that she's so fucking irrationally emotional that her being in space made her that way because they need her angry, because angry is easily emotionally controllable, right? Mm-hmm. So instead of it being she overrides the chip and now she's unleashed and now it's in danger, it's instead them fucking with her by making all of these angles to endear her to the scientist, making the program AI that the form that they choose is of the Kree scientist woman, they make it so that they have a false character that she relates to. It's like, oh, well, she tried to give me the power, so I can trust her. And they start doing the psychic dagger shit to her, start fucking with her mentally, make her angry and untrusting of other people. That makes sense for her being angry at Nick Fury. It makes sense for her to be standoffish and aloof, since she already knows that she's dealing with Kree, who are shapeshifters, who can fuck with her brain regardless, because they can just pass themselves off of people. And she's already dealing with how she has to present herself, punching the old woman in public, and people are going to be like, what the fuck? This psycho-ass woman? What the hell? All of that could have been easily tied together by just making it that she's an over-emotional woman.
I almost laughed.
Unironically speaking, because it's still good scenes. You just take away one piece of shit that you didn't fucking need, and you recontextualize. Now when you make it, oh, well, she's the strongest, but she just has some emotional issues, and she's unsure of herself, because here she's finding out that she had this entire life that was erased from her mind so she could be a literal genocidal soldier for the Kree Empire. And now she's going to go off in this mission of peace to go help the good Kree, because they're going to do secret wars. We know they're going to do secret wars. There's no reason for them not to do secret wars.
Or they're going to try.
They're going to try, and it's going to suck, but they're going to do it. The best thing you could do is start setting up the emotional pull. Not because, oh, well, we just want to make her an angry woman. No, it's so that when the anger really slaps, when you can pivot to making her something different, it works better. I can believe it. Because you put the groundwork in. The same way that they put the groundwork in for the MCU, with setting up Tony Stark's character, taking all that time to develop him so that you can have that grand payoff in Endgame, you have to do the same thing to characters you bring in. You should do it to all of them so that all of their character moments are good, but they have to do that with her. They have to do that. And it's because Brie Larson is such an unlikable actress, and I actually unironically like her fucking films. And it's because she's a good character actress. Perfect example. Yeah. Who here loves Scott Pilgrim's Envy Adams?
No. Oh yeah, we do love Envy Adams. Guys, we're actually running a bit long, about 30 minutes longer than we expected. Let's just wrap up.
All right. Yeah. So, my point there. Who likes Envy Adams? Just show of hands.
I've
never heard of her.
I love Envy Adams. Yeah.
Yeah. How many of you knew that Brie Larson actually recorded a musical album before in her early career?
No idea.
What?
She is a musician. She actually plays guitar. She's actually pretty decent as a vocalist. When she leaned on the character of Envy Adams, she was playing herself before feminism, of course. So when she leans into characters and she becomes them for her roles, she's really trying really hard to be good. She was sent into a film and an environment and a character she knew basically nothing about, to be a blank slate, the way that they would do for a character like Neo, as portrayed by Keanu Reeves, right? They had a baseline they could have worked with, but they didn't work with it because they were too busy trying to push empowerment. They were too busy trying to push the message while at the same time trying to promote the U.S. military. All they got to do, just a little bit of twinking, just a little bit of twinking, just a little bit. And, of course, her not running her mouth about politics so goddamn much. And whammo blammo, here you go. Here's your front leading actress. Even if she just is as crazy as she is in interviews, where Don Cheadle telling her, hey, don't touch me, with Hawkeye's actor basically looking comatose as he's sitting next to her, trying to be anywhere else than where he is, Jeremy Renner, without having, even if you have all that, you can literally just let her character speak for herself. And then when you eventually try to shove in your Miss Marvel character of Kamala Khan, where they try to make her mentor character, as they
can't really fix Kamala
already chosen.
Khan.
Listen, they're gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, there's no way. Her character was just so fucked from the start. There's I'm not sure how anyone could salvage it.
They would have to try really hard, and they're going to try really, really, really hard, which is part of the reason why I said it's illegal for them to do that, because people aren't going to watch that show that she's going to be in on Disney Plus, and they're going to expect people to go in with that knowledge, and it's going to be really confusing because they're not going to have defined it on screen because it didn't happen in the movie; it happened in the series. And you're going to have people
fucking burn.
They're going to have people having arguments saying, "Well, it was already in the series; you should have watched it," and then people are going to tell them, rightfully, no, because it didn't happen in a movie. you're having a movie.
consume.
Yeah, you're supposed to watch the movie, and the movie lay out the character so that in the next movie, when this character shows up, you're like, oh, so that's the character arc. That's where it's going. Instead, it's going to be, oh, well, reasons. Here's a new Kamala Khan. Reasons, and scene. And that's it. It's going to be dog shit. Because they didn't want to put in the work. Because the actress or actors didn't want to put in the work. Because the director didn't want to put in the work. Because the executives didn't care. Because the writers didn't care. And they were just told, do the thing. It's just going to be dog shit in general. That's all I wanted to say. Go ahead, Bo.
Quick shout out to Al.
There's not really have much to say. I just wanted to actually, we got to close up the show. We've been running a bit long. Longer than most.
Yeah. Happy birthday, honey.
Happy birthday, Al.
Happy birthday to Al Mangus.
Yeah.
Happy
So,
birthday.
thank you all for being with us. This was a great show. Thank you, Carl, for being here. Amy had to bow out early, but she was great while she was here. Thank Lamb for being such a great host and producer. And thank you guys for popping in and saying your part. This was a great show, and good night, guys.
Have a good night.
Good night.
The camera.
Okay, good.